You're looking for the best leads for not only yourself, but for your team. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how you can develop that strategy to help you hit $40,000 a month and your agency scale to $1 million a month. My name's Trey. I'm the owner of Agent Lead Lab. In the past 3.5 years, we've helped 550 agents issue pay $40,000 per month. And we are now on track to have our fourth agency who hits over $1 million per month on their team. And on this channel, I try to break down the strategies, tactics, and methods that they are doing and what you can implement as an individual agent yourself. So as always, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's hop right into the video. Okay, so first things first, let's go small screen here. All right, so I want to talk today about finding the best leads for your team, right? Many people do not know what they do not know. And you're like, Trey, what does that mean? And it's like many people look at leads wrong. Okay. Now let me go big screen and explain what I mean here. So when I say look at leads wrong, I am referring to how they want to create systems around the leads that they have. Now, depending on the industry that you're in and what you're trying to optimize your goal for, i.e., life insurance, every lead is created differently. They're all created the same, but they're also created differently. And let me explain what that means. So when I say that they're all created the same, it's on the same platforms. It's through the same methods. You got lead forms, you got landing pages. Typically people aren't really doing VSLs. I haven't really seen many people doing webinars, but all this stuff could be the future, right? Like even as I'm saying it now, that might be a play even of itself. But right now, you got mostly like lead forms and you've got landing pages, and you've got the same main platforms. You've got Facebook and Instagram, which is Meta, and WhatsApp's on there, Messenger, etc. And then you also have Google, which is Google and YouTube. You've got TikTok, but not a lot of advertisers or companies who are generating leads run things on TikTok. So it's the same, but it's also different because every demographic behaves different on those platforms. So how you as an agent go about working the leads that you receive is totally dependent on the behavior of those leads, right? So for example, and I've broken this down in other videos, but I'm going through this step by step, right? It's like, final expense has its own set of behaviors, and that's based off the demographic. So I talk about demographics a lot because that helps with selling, right? Same as that thing goes for IUL clients, okay? Mortgage protection clients, right? Annuity clients, veteran clients, truckers, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Every team, or sorry, not every team, every lead type has their own set of individual behaviors. And if you don't understand that as an agent, you are going to put yourself in a very difficult spot. So they are the same because you're using the same platforms, but they are different because then they're all created differently. And then on how you target them and how you source their information also is very, very important. And it's widely misunderstood that agents think that leads are just leads, and they are. But the thing is, you have to understand and know what process your lead is going through. If you don't know that, you have false expectations. Like I know that a lead that comes from a form is a little bit different than a lead that comes from a landing page. Now, the quality of the person is still relatively the same. Just one requires a little bit more skill to sell. The other requires just a little bit less skill, and there's a little bit more intent with that individual. Does that make them good or bad? No, but it does make them different. So you should know the difference between the two, because if you can understand that, you can understand how the leads are being generated, and then you can have the right expectations. Most of the times with leads, people have the wrong expectations because they don't know what's actually going on, right? Now, how do you find the best leads for your team? I think it's dependent on two things. Okay. Two things. Number one is how you sell. And then the second one is how you want to build. All right. So let's start with how you sell. All right. Now, how you sell is simple. Are you somebody that wants to get straight to the point, doesn't want to beat around the bush, doesn't want to book appointments, and really values their time in regards to, like, I'd rather just, when I talk to them, get it done? That's more of a one call close type of agent, which is going to be probably more veteran, final expense, maybe IUL, maybe mortgage protection. Maybe. Not going to be annuity, typically not really going to be IUL, and always not going to be mortgage protection. The reason why I'm saying that is because you need to know what you want to do. So there's a lot of people who just want to dial all day. If you want to dial all day and make a lot of money, like quickly, and not have to go through a lot of stuff, be able to kind of not have to worry about the spouse, can kind of just nail the appointment down, then you probably need to scale with like final expense, veteran, like sub niche type clientele that you could just close on the spot. This is why veteran leads are so popular. The reason why veteran leads are so popular is because they are super simple. They operate like final expense clients. So you can take a lot of control, even though they were former veterans, but they also have money like their mortgage protection clients, and they have understanding and like can use a little bit of logic, kind of like an annuity client in a way, right? Like for them, veterans understand that they serve the country. So in their mind, they're already like life insurance makes sense. So you're not having to like, oh my goodness, life insurance. Like there's no that word doesn't offend them. The thing is that it rewards people who just know how to be direct and low key know how to sell logically. They don't want the whole like, yeah, like how's it gonna feel if you, bro? They serve the country. Like their mindset is completely different. But if you can tap into that and be direct, you can crush it. Like as I listen and generate more leads and have more conversations with the actual leads themselves. Because by the way, guys, I'll just generate leads and just have me and my team just call them. That's how I try things out, right? Like I because I'm an agent and I know how to sell. Like I understand and I try things out before I roll them out to people. Because at the end of the day, it's like I understand products and like leads are basically a product. I used to think that I was in a service business. I'm in a product business where service is devalued, but quality service in a product business will heat better results. And I think that's kind of what we prioritize. But anyways, that's sure. What I'm trying to get to is you have to know yourself and how you sell and what you want to do. Because if you're the opposite and you're like, man, I want to treat this more like high ticket sales. I'd rather call and book appointments. Like, then you need to understand that because the next thing I'm about to say is you have to understand the process for which you're going to be building the leads for your team. Okay. Second thing is how you want to build. Now, when you think about building, you have to think about the fact that your job will be to bring in somebody into your culture, which you should be focusing on, and teach them how to do what you do. They're looking to duplicate you. Like when you recruit somebody, they don't come to your organization because they're like, oh my goodness, like I want to sell life insurance. No, it's something about you and what you explained about the opportunity that makes them want to work with you. Because the thing is, like, working life insurance is like you can get a license anywhere, you can sign up anywhere. If they want to come work for your agency, you need to figure out like how do you want to build. So what I mean by that is like, do you want to build savages who in a like build slowly, meaning like every single person writing 40 50K, like supreme, like I'm just going to work on this person one at a time to make sure they're super profitable? Or do you want to go like more, that would be like Navy SEALs? Do you want to go more Army, you know, more still really quality but vast amount of bodies? More people go to the Army than they do become Navy SEALs. Really simple, right? And then you like so, and you work your way down. I don't know what the next equivalent would be. I'm not too like vast into military terms, and there's no pun intended on the veteran, the military. I just like to use that because if you can understand how you want to sell, and then you understand how you want to build, those are only two things that matter. Because now that you know those two things, you find leads that fit those two criteria. You're like, oh well, I value my time and I want to book appointments and I don't want to work weekends. Well, that's not gonna work. But if I work weekends, I just want to work like mornings and I want to deal with more sophisticated buyers. And I don't mind having more of a logical sale. I'd rather have pre-booked like booked appointments. They're like, dude, you're probably not like veteran, final expense. It's probably not gonna be your jam. You probably need to go mortgage or IUL. You probably need to do that from the jump. Regardless of, hey, get your teeth kicked in with final expense. No, get your teeth kicked in with like some old mortgage leads. Now, I do think you still need to dial and do those other things, but you need to understand that like if you don't focus on how you want to sell first, you can't build because the people are going to come in and try to duplicate you. And if you don't really understand why you're doing what you're doing or what process works for you, it makes no sense. The second thing is how you want to build, because if you're trying to build savages and you're doing a high ticket process, you're going to build slow and you have to be okay with that. And you also need to find leads that work like that. You can't go to a lead vendor and be like, well, I'm trying to build my team, but I'm going to like test out age leads. And then it's just, that makes no sense. Like if you're trying to build more of a volume-based team, then do volume-based activities, volume-based behaviors, and volume-based focus on the tasks in the leads that emphasize volume. Because I think people have this Like I talk to people all the time and they're like, yeah, man, I want to try your leads. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to try your leads first. And if they work for me, then I'll bring my team. Okay, I'm fine. But then they go and try like the oldest leads we have. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. How are you going to get a feel? And then on top of that, if they do try fresh leads, they try like one pack. And I'm like, okay, let's take it all the way back. Nothing that you try in your first time is actually trying. Like you need to give something multiple times. So for me, I operate in months. I feel like if you paid for the month to get enough leads, you'd be able to try. Part of the reason why people can't find lead companies is not necessarily because there aren't any good ones. It's because they don't actually work with the ones that they try long enough to give them a chance to see how it works. Because if you actually build a relationship with any marketing company, if you actually want to find leads that work for your team, you need to do it for a month because like what is 1 week? So you could have a great or a bad week. Does that mean it's good or bad? No, it just means you had one good week. It's like that. It's like anything. It's like I play a game and I had one good game. Oh, he's a great player. No, they evaluate you based on 3 to 5 games. Like you go to NFL when they scout you, they look at it, they're like, okay, cool. We're gonna grab his like best 5 games. We're gonna break those games down. Or and then like, dude, here's what happens. People get drafted higher because they're like, yo, I cut on 5 tapes and nothing looks different. I cut on 5 tapes and it's like, golly, the first 3 tapes were hot, but then the last 2, are these the best you have? So you showed me you had a 10 game season. And you mean to tell me that, or a 12 game season, and you mean to tell me that you couldn't put together 5 quality games? You want me to draft you? No. So that's how draft stock goes down. That's how they evaluate players. People think it's just like, oh, they have a few shiny games. No, they look at the entire game. They look at all the behaviors. They study how you walk onto the field. Look at everything when they're investing into you. The thing is, when we're life insurance agents, we don't look at lead companies the same. And lead companies saying we don't look at life insurance agents the same, which is so backwards and dumb to me because it's like you should value every client that comes through, treat them as such, give them all the tools they need to be successful. That's what I focus on. If I can try to get these individual agents to actually make money, then it's like, okay, they're going to come back. Most people are so focused on, I'm trying to collect so much money up front, but they don't provide any actual value to get lifetime value. Like for me, I just looked up my partner, the guy, not my partner, but one of our partnership clients, I apologize, that's in our Apex, right? I went back yesterday. I was just sitting here with the team. I went back and looked up where he came from because I thought he came from a referral. I went all the way back to 2024. He filled out an ad. 2024, he filled out an ad. I don't think I ever talked to him, spoke to him. I did another agency owner, 2024 in the December. He filled out an ad. So you mean to tell me I have 2 people who filled out ads that I currently probably, if I had to check their lifetime value, they spent, if I counted their whole team and themselves, I mean, dude, they've spent well over 400,000 or 500,000. I would say probably both of them together probably spent 400,000. Like I feel like between age, fresh, all that. So you mean to tell me that if the name of the game is just stay in this thing long enough to do really well, I have clients from 2024. Now this is like a new guy that's blowing up with me. He was just like whatever, but at the time, no disrespect, like he was just a regular agent at the time, no team, nothing. And he hit me up, grow, met with him. Like so, you mean to tell me that over all this time, now I have one of my clients, I'm about to get him to 1 million. So people think in their mind, they're like, this is such a quick game. The reason why I'm explaining that is because you have to understand and know that like if you are buying leads from a lead vendor, you buying 1 pack of leads is not going to give you enough to tell you if this is a team company you want to work with. Like it makes zero sense. What you should do is say, hey, I'm going to work with you for a month. Okay. I need your best leads. I'm willing to spend the money and let's see what happens. Because so many people don't have the right mindset about investing in business, which is another video I can talk about, is like how life insurance agency owners aren't business owners. And I'm sorry to say it, but I have a video I recorded months ago and I think I need to bring it back. But like, if you go and look at these individual agents that are trying out lead companies to figure out if there's good for their agency, they do it for like a week or 2. It's like, bro, like I would go and do like a whole month and be like, all right, let me run these, see how they turn out, see what type of return I can get. Let me learn what they're doing. Let me see their process. And it's somebody I can work with. Do they have good customer service? What is their return policy? Do they have a return policy? Are their leads good? Do their scripts and training work? Do they have a community? Like I'm evaluating these things to determine whether or not this is a good fit for my team. Because most people will just like try a pack of weeds and be like, dude, these suck. And it's like, bro, you like have no real context around this person's lead business to say that. Because here's the thing, your agents that come in, if you actually want to build a relationship, this is why how you want to build is so important to finding the best leads, is because If you want to actually develop a partnership with the lead company, right? Like whatever, buying their leads, whatever they say, in-house system, I don't care how people phrase it. Your agents have to be set up on some sort of recurring. Is it weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, daily, right? They also, the only way that it works is if they buy enough leads to consistently get enough momentum for things to start changing. I think back to, my guy, and we had this little turning point, and it's the same thing that's happened with the other three agencies. We've had this little turning point where people were buying leads, but they were like buying them and stopping, buying them and stopping them. And then we got people to just buy them every week, over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And guess what happened? Eventually, we found out that like the people that were buying the leads more consistently, putting themselves into that like it has to work or it has to work mindset, and were really firing on all cylinders. The difference was that they were then able to actually start scaling quicker because they had a process that we had forcefully created. Well, you can't forcefully create that if you don't embody that yourself. Like you have to be the first one to start and like, okay, I'm going to buy these leads every week. I'm going to see how this works because this is the same process that they're going to go through. That's it. The rates might change, but the process will not change from the company. They're not going to like rebuild a whole new process. It's just not going to happen. And like, okay, you buy leads, this is how they come in, it's kind of how they work. Like, do you like those people? Does it work for those people? You have to understand how you want to build because tying into what I just said is like, if you want to build a team of Navy SEALs or Rangers or whatever group you want to say they are, the company that you partner with should have an emphasis on super high quality leads and like a more effective process than a more effective and efficient process than a more like quantity based volume approach. There's nothing wrong with either or, and vice versa. But if you don't know those things, then what is really the point of you? You're going into it blind, and this is why agents just stay on this cycle of trying to find lead. It's not because there's no good lead. It's because agents don't know what to look for. They don't know how to build. They don't understand business. And I'm sorry to say it, but it's the truth. Now, there are some garbage lead companies out there. I will be honest. There are some really garbage lead companies out there. But there's also some really good ones. And I'm not just talking about myself. Because on this channel, I don't try to preach buy from Trey. Like, I just try to preach like, yo, let me help you guys. I have my own company. If y'all want to come tap in with me, you know where to find me. But I'm saying, though, in general, if you're trying to find the best leads, what you need to focus on is finding how can I work with this company and how can I work with them for a long enough time to see if this is a good fit for me. Also, not jumping shit. People will have 2 good months and have 1 bad month and be like, these leads suck. 1 bad week and be like, these suck. Like, bro, it's just a bad week. Like, it's just a bad month. Like, relax. Did you still make a little bit of money? Yes. Okay, you work with them 7 months, you had 1 bad month. Now all of a sudden they're bad. Now, if you work with them for 2-3 months and it's just garbage, I'm like, all right, cool. If your margins aren't the same, you can ask them what's going on. If they can't give you a clear-cut answer, then what are you doing? Like, they should be able to tell you the cost to acquire a client, all those things. So if they don't have that data, then you're kind of like, so you have to start figuring out what's really important for you to scale. And it comes down to the 2 things. How do you sell and how do you want to build? Once you figure those 2 things out, you can go to any lead company and evaluate whether or not it's a good fit for you. Do they sell the leads the way you want them to be sold? Do they have the pre-qualifying questions? Can they answer the, what's your cost to acquire a client? What's this, what's that? If they can't answer that, you need to go to the next company. Next thing, how do you want to build? Do they fit the mode of what you're trying to do? Are you trying to go more Army based? Or are you trying to go Navy SEALs, Rangers based? Right? That's the analogy, right? And for those that don't know, Navy SEALs, Rangers, elite class group. Not saying that the Army isn't. I'm not here to get into any political, debate. But more people do like join the Army than become Navy SEALs and become Rangers. Pretty simple, right? So you think about a $40,000-$50,000 a month producer. Hey, I want to produce those, and I'll just take my time and get to $1 million because I'll have however many of those, 20 of those, right? Or I'll have like a dumpster fire of like everything. I'll have some 50, 60, 70, 80K producers. I'll have some 10K, 5K, and like I'll just build that way. There's no wrong way, in my opinion, with either or. I think it's a preference thing and a tolerance thing. What do you want to tolerate more of? Right? It's just totally up to you. One is just going to be a little bit of a slow burner. The other one will be a little bit quicker, but you may have to put out more fires. So it's totally up to you. But that's what I wanted to explain today. How do you find the best leads for your team? My name's Trey. Once again, I'm the owner of Lead Lab. If you want to tap in with us individually, you don't have to. Please don't feel free. You can go to leadlabcrm.com. That's where you can buy leads. If you want to book a call, go to agentleadlab.com. There'll be an Apex strategy call in this section. I've been telling people it's for agency owners, but I get a ton of individual agents that book. So like, cool. If you want to book there, just all I'm asking is if you're going to book on there, like just be ready to buy. Like all the pricing and stuff is online. It's nothing. I don't hide anything. If you want to partner with us, you do have to go through our process anyways. But people will be like, well, how much does it cost? It's between 3,500 to like 10K. It's typically 5 to 10. We'll have some people coming at 35. That's like if you have an agency, but you cannot just jump into that. You have to buy leads first. Then you have to become a partner. Then you could do the hiring. It is a set process. I will not change that process because that's the process that works. That's the process proven that's worked. And it's really like going from dating to marriage. And it's been super beneficial. So as always, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.